Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today our video is gonna focus around Hu Tao. So Hu Tao is the new hero that's about to come out. Currently we have the Keqing banner. We just finished the Xiao banner, and right now we're on the Keqing banner. However, Keqing is a 5-star character on the regular banner, so most people aren't gonna roll for her unless they really like her and like the 4 stars on her banner. But the next banner that will come out after the Keqing banner is actually the Hu Tao banner. So today we're gonna take a look at Hu Tao, the 5-star character. So Hu Tao, she has a pretty unique background story. So she's actually the head of the Wanshan Funeral Parlor. So that's in the story, she's the 77th director of the Wanshan Funeral Parlor, so she took over the business at a rather young age. So she's actually a teenager. I think she's a teenager. She's not a kid like Chi Chi. Chi Chi's a little girl. When she died, she was like around 12. Not the same with Hu Tao. Hu Tao's at least maybe like 15, 16, I would guess. But she is a polearm user. She's a 5-star character, and she has a unique kit. She's actually a Pyro user too, so she's definitely gonna be a DPS hero or a support DPS, but I'd assume she's gonna be some form of DPS. So over here we can take a look at her stat as she progresses in level. So she does have a high base HP. Her base attack is really low. Her base defense is pretty normal, and she gains crit damage as she levels up, and her crit rate is the same. So she gets crit damage with Ascension levels, and then the materials that she needs to ascend are the regular fire material that you can obtain from the fire flower, and you're gonna need these, which are silk flowers. Yes, silk flowers. So you can actually get silk flowers from where can you get? You can get silk flowers from Leeway. So I can show you guys where to get silk flowers. So silk flowers can be obtained right over here. If you click on this teleport waypoint, which is at the Wanshu Inn, you click teleport. And if you fly all the way down, you should be able to see these little red bushes. So you have one right here below me, one over there, and there will be a little bit of glittering, and you just obtain those, and they should be along this road. So you see down there, there's another one, and over there, there's another one. You can just obtain those, and across the bridge, there should be 2 more. So you can obtain silk flowers over here. The next Ascension material that you'll need is the Whopper flower nectar. So these are obtained from these items, these Whopper flowers. So you can use this book, you can figure out where the Whopper flowers are, mark them on the map, and kill them. The next Ascension material that you need are these, which are relevantly new, and these are attained from killing this boss over here, the Primo Geovis Hop. So you get the fire materials from the fire flower, which is right next by the Geovis Hop. So the Pyro Registine will drop these materials, the Agnes K chunks in for the Ascension levels. Well, that's pretty common, so her master won't be that hard to get, except maybe these you're gonna have to farm them a little bit, and that might be a little bit tedious. Other than that, you also need Morna in order to ascend your Hu Tao. But let's go ahead and look at her attack patterns. So she has a normal attack like any other character in this game. She also has a charged attack, and her charge attack consumes a certain amount of stamina to lunge forward, dealing damage to opponents along the way. This is pretty standard. She also has a plunging attack, plunges from midair, so she's flying from a cliff. She can strike the ground. which will damage the opponent. Pretty standard across characters. But let's take a look at her damage multipliers. So for a normal attack, her first hit is pretty low. Second hit, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, pretty standard. Pretty low amounts of multipliers. Her charge attack, however, is much bigger than her regular hits, right? But her charge attack stamina cost pretty standard. Her plunge attack is also pretty high for a plunge attack, because that's pretty normal also. But the one that stands out the most is her charge attack. So Hu Tao will most likely be focused around her charge attacks. So let's take a look at her skills. So her elemental skill is actually Guide to Afterlife. So this only an unwavering flame can cleanse the impurities of this world. Hu Tao consumes a set portion of her HP to knock the surrounding enemies back and enter the Parameta Papilio state. So over here they give us a description of this Parameta Papilio state, and while she's in this state, Hu Tao's attack is increased based on her max HP at the time of entering the state. So that attack bonus gained also cannot exceed 400% of Hu Tao's base attack. And this also converts all of her attacks to pyro damage. And this can't be overridden by any other elemental infusions, so Chongyon's skill cannot override Hu Tao's element into cryo, and charged attacks apply the Blood Blossom effect to the enemies that are hit. And this also increases Hu Tao's resistance to interruption. So let's see about Blood Blossom. So Blood Blossom is actually gonna be a DOT, damage over time ability. So enemies affected by Blood Blossom will take pyro damage every 4 seconds. The damage is considered elemental skill damage. So you might be able to combo with other characters to create an elemental reaction while enemies are affected by Blood Blossom. So each enemy can only be affected by one Blood Blossom effect at a time, so they do not stack. So I guess what this means is when Hu Tao affects an enemy with Blood Blossom, the timer has to end before she can apply another Blood Blossom. And this state ends when its duration is over, or when Hu Tao has left the battle or fallen. So this is similar to Razors and Shells. All if they leave the field, then they're all ends. Pretty straightforward. The activation cost for this skill is the same no matter what level you have the skill at, so it's always going to be 30% of recurring HP. However, the attack increased as you level it up, so at a higher level, you're going to need lower max HP to get the maximum attack bonus increase, because remember, her attack bonus cannot exceed 400% of Hu Tao's base attack. And it's been leaked that her base attack also includes the attack of her base weapon attack. So this is gonna be Hu Tao's base attack plus the attack on her weapon that she's using. The duration of the Blood Blossom duration is 8 seconds. And the duration of Pyramidal Papilio is 9 seconds, with a cooldown of 16 seconds, which leaves around 7 seconds downtime to use Pyramidal Papilio again. But let's take a look at her Elemental Burst, which is also kind of like her ultimate. So she commands a Blazing Spirit to attack, dealing pyro damage in a large AoE. So this is a large AoE circle. Upon striking the enemy, it regenerates a percentage of Hu Tao's max HP. This effect can be triggered up to 5 times based on the number of enemies hit. So I'm guessing this is just a one-time damage area of effect, so it's not going to be damage over time. If you hit a lot of enemies, up to 5 enemies, then you'll get a lot of HP regenerated back. And then if Hu Tao's HP is below or equal to 50% when the enemy is hit, both the damage and HP regenerations are increased. So you want, when you use your So let's see. So when you use your pyramidal papil, you're gonna want to use it when your HP as a point. When you use this, your HP will be below 50% after using pyramidal papilio. So after taking the 30% of your current HP, you'll be below 50% of your total HP. So you will be able to take advantage of these increased damage and HP regeneration multipliers. So the skill damage right here is pretty high, and then it's even higher when you have the 50% under 50% HP damage multiplier. So you definitely want to take advantage of Hu Tao being below 50% when you activate your elemental burst. So basically her gameplay seems like you would pop Paramento Papilio when she's at a HP percentage where after you pop Paramento Papilio, she'll be below 50%. You'll do your damage until the duration is over, and then you would pop your Elemental Burst Spirit Smoother around an area of monsters, and that will heal your Hu Tao all the way up or up to a certain point, and then you will switch because over here, yes, after you switch, because in one of her talents, let's see, when Paramento Papilio stay activated by Guide to Afterlife is over, all allies in the party, excluding Hu Tao herself, will have their crit rate increased by 12% for 8 seconds. So when you switch to a different character, that character will have an increased crit rate of 12% for the cooldown duration. So after this 8 seconds, you can switch back to Hu Tao, and then you can use Paramento Papilio again and rinse and repeat. So after you use Paramento Papilio, you would pop her Elemental Burst to heal back up, switch characters, have that increased 12% crit rate, do damage. After the 8 seconds is over, switch back to Hu Tao, pop your Paramento Papilio again, do a lot of damage, pop your ultimate, switch over, have that crit rate percent bonus again. Let's